Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reacts where today we got ourselves a track from an act named IGOR titled Dih Lightning, I think. And if we switch over to here, we have this album art here, the single art, which is actually, you know, like there's a lot going on there and I'm not quite sure about a lot of it, but at least this guy's got a smile on his face. Not so sure about this one though. We're gonna listen through this track from start till finish. And we're going to hear what we think. I should note this is not the first time I've checked out Igor's work, but it will definitely be an experience to listen through more, so let's do it.
Show on the beat. Warning, this song is extremely quiet. Turn volume up to 100 listening.
I feel like it's loud enough, you know?
I'm back on the beat. Yes, it is me. I'm back. I hope you missed me, Spiderhands. It's me. I'm back on the beat. It's me. My cats are still fucking thirsty. They're going to die without me. But I spent all my money on this song to send to he, like a Michael. I'm Michael Jackson. Song blessing my ear. I hope you're ready, cause this song's gonna be a long one.
Hey yo, I be on this beat like I got.
So this is like a team effort, isn't it? Because I can hear different vocalists in here.
The key in my pocket and I got the key.
Oh my
God! In my seat, yeah, catching the lead. I can't feel the beat. Verse over, I guess.
Strip me down, oil me up, and slap my ass. Is that a beat switch I hear?
The beautiful thing about having two different voicing at the same time is that you can't really focus on either, you just kind of hear the textures.
Tickle my feet, call me Pete, because I know I'm hitting this beat. There's another beat switch incoming! Yeah!
It's me, Mickey Mouse. Say, you want to come inside my clubhouse?
Is it suddenly going to get a whole lot louder in a moment?
Full throttle. You made this?
Hey, first time making a beat, yay. I love making beats, yay. I watch mommy ASMR, unironically, yay. Don't bully me, I haven't been in school in a while, yay. I like quoting everything. People say I do tons of things. I'm really good at making this beat. The line, that was my line.
With me,
Yay.
Miska.
I think I'm really good at this.
Mickey
Keep hiring me.
Mouse.
I'm really good at this, you know? I'm very, very good at this.
Is this a new character in the Igor multiverse?
Anyways, I like licking feet. I'm beating my meat. Oh my gosh, I'm lusting everywhere.
Yup, I think I hear one more scary beat switch. I am fucking dumb retard.
I unironically don't like, you know, I don't, there's a bit of a Freudian slip, wasn't it? I don't mind this part. I don't mind this. I think it insinuates pretty strongly that I might not be a massive fan of other bits of this track, but we'll talk about that in the overall conclusion. What's at the end?
This was certified honest.
There you go. All right. Thank you for that experience. We're going to talk about it more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from IGOR titled Dih Lightning. In this section, I'm going to provide an overall song analysis of everything from lyrics and vocals all the way through to studio production, as well as any applicable constructive critique, and then finally, my thoughts on it from a final general listener's perspective. But before we go any further, what do we think this track is about? I don't think there's an overarching narrative to this track. I realized that I was included in it by name as Spiderhands. There were lots of different beat drops mentioned, like we had an actual announcement for a lot of them. We had Mickey Mouse in there for a little bit, Mickey Mouse's Townhouse, which was kind of nice. I never watched that as a kid, but it sounds really cute. And then we had some rapping over top of that with a new member of the cast. And as we scream, I hope you're ready because this song's going to be a long one. It's almost it's almost self-aware. It's basically saying, we know that we're making stuff that is deliberately difficult to listen to because we want a reaction. And what, if nothing else, is a reaction video, if not forcing a reaction? I think that it's great to see people so creatively trying to make music that kind of openly manipulates the listener. That might sound a little bit intense, but if you think about it, all music is inherently manipulative to a certain extent, or at least the stuff where they deliberately try to make it quote-unquote catchy. Because what it's doing is effectively saying, we want to put forward these chord progressions and note choices and rhythms on the percussion and other instruments, as well as vocal lines, hook lines, etc., in a way that will either get stuck in the listener's head or make them want to sort of vibe along to it. I think that there's a lot of stuff going on within this that is dissonant and antithetical to a positive listening experience. But I think if you accept it as a show of that, then it works. And so when I listen to the people on the microphone, all the different vocalists that we have with their own sort of expressions and personalities putting things forward, telling us things like to turn it up, like to make it loud, telling us that the track is going to be longer. There are parts around the 145 mark where I can't really tell what's going on. I could listen to one side or the other, but I would be missing the other side. So it's kind of a situation where as a listener, we kind of just have to accept that we've got voices in our heads. And this is why I don't feel entirely negative about it, because there are some really interesting creative ideas here. It's kind of like just because a horror movie might make someone feel unpleasant doesn't mean it's unsuccessful. I think that if that's the process and purpose of it, then it's successful. At the end, when we mentioned that it was certified dog shit, it's got a self-awareness that I appreciate. I think that these are people either sort of freestyle rapping and just having fun within their sort of mod calls, or they're trying to add to the cacophony of certain elements of this piece. And I think that it's just great to hear people enjoying music. The guy at around 1 minute 10 could have potentially have been a bit louder in the mix. And there was, just as a closing comment, there were some vocal parts which are deliberately quiet, but it was almost like, because I'm aware of maybe the way we were trying to compose this, I could sort of tell that we were maybe going to do a jump scare or something like that without it necessarily needing to be extended as an olive branch. In terms of structure though, with the understanding there are different vocalists with varying sort of cadences and levels of polish on their vocalizations throughout this, as well as some of the more sort of verbose or extravagant exclamations. Some people sounded like they were having a very good time within this. And the Mickey impersonation was good. I'm not sure if that was Mickey themselves or if it was someone doing the Mickey voice. That was pretty dope if that was the case. This track opens at the 1 second mark with immediate distortion and vocals being pushed. And you can just tell from the get-go that it's unabashedly going to be an intense experience. When you have just the absolute rigidity of noise in that 16th or 17th second part, and it's just overwhelming. It's almost like you immediately get used to it if you accept what it is. I think it works less when you're familiar with it. You can kind of go, oh, I understand why they're pushing like that. Individually, there are some chord progressions or drum patterns. There were some blast beats there that are kind of nice. There are some keys that are deliberately dissonant and playing some diminished or flat seconds, and you can tell that it's meant to sort of sound spicy. And it's meant to sort of make you feel uncomfortable, and it does. There were some interesting sort of lo-fi hip-hop drum beats there around the 1 minute 10 mark, for example, there where you could hear some tom fills, some soundboard effects, some cymbals, some open hi-hats there, and that's kind of neat in the sense that you can follow along with that. I think the truck sounds that we had were cool in the sense that, like, you had that, I mean, you have it in the album art, of course, you know, up over there. You have that in the art, so you're kind of glad that that's tied into it. And I think that on you know, around the 140 mark, for example, where the voice is spread out to the side and it kind of pans like that, that's growth, I think, from some of the previous releases there where it's kind of split around the side there. It shows we're putting effort into this. I remember someone mentioning, by the way, that they had given their cat some water, and I'm thankful for that. You got to take care of your pets. That might seem completely random if you're less familiar with what was said there lyrically. There was a previous track where I think they spoke about not giving their cat food or water or something along those lines, and I'm really glad that they're taking care of their cat, you know. And I actually think that it would be almost equally as enjoyable if they had like 4 minutes of the part where the bass and drums were just totally shoved like they were near the end. That kind of really kind of ragish, kind of abrasive, deliberately exaggerated, sort of like ominous sounding 808 kind of cacophony there. It's basically an oral catastrophe, and I appreciate it. But then it just stops in there's space until you get that last word pattern. And so, you know, this is a through composed piece with, it's almost like a fever dream of a track. And it may seem like I'm being untypically harsh about this. It's just more accepting the track for what it is. I think that, again, it is creative. There's clearly been some effort put into it. I like the fact that there's dynamic range and adjustments within it for what it is. And I think that 4 minutes was a good length for it. You know, I'm not sure what you would have done if it was 6 minutes. You could have maybe made an anthology out of it. Objectively, I would rather listen to something like this than a song where they clearly didn't care about what they were doing. So I appreciate IGOR and everyone else involved putting effort into this track. Thematically, it's far more about the attitude of the vocalists, what they're discussing, the deliberate distortion and dissonance of some of those chord progressions and key lines and 808s, and the kind of suave nature and, you know, counterintuitively to the drums. It's just more about, I think, easily identifiable or expected textures that are put into kind of like, you know, having that kind of drum beat is maybe a given in certain genres, especially with rap and stuff like that. So we identify that that's something we want. But then what we do outside of that is just kind of like have almost obnoxious sounding parts that, yeah, it's just an interesting arrangement. I'm not sure how Dih Lightning, I'm just not as familiar or hip with with things, but I'm not sure how that rolls into things. I feel like a bit of an unk at the moment. Studio recording, mixing, and mastering. It's a wild ride. Again, it's like when parts are extremely loud or pushed and recorded in a way where they would, you know, in a typical recording process, it would be unprofessional sounding or amateur at best. It's like we understand that and are being deliberately, we're trying to just make the sounds we want because we know what sounds good to us and how potentially to make it not sound good for the person listening to it. It's funny because it's kind of horrific sounding in parts there. There is a kind of a sense of humor to it. And I think that it takes effort to not only make something like this and put it together, but it's also makes effort to know when to have things a certain level, how to bring things down, how to bring things up, how to sort of calibrate and move things around with automation and some of the panning positions of things, to kind of know to kind of bring things down for the ASMR-ish kind of stuff. It's fascinating. It's nice and loud, bit of bass compression, you know, the stuff like that's handled. Yeah, I don't think the vocals are overproduced. It was just great to hear some different people this time. In terms of applicable constructive critique, I feel like it's such a specific kind of concept or project that trying to apply any of the traditional, you could have done this more differently to make it a bit more typical might have seemed sort of counterproductive. It's trying to be its own thing. So I feel like anything I say to try and, you know, quote unquote, sort of improve it I kind of want to just let them do their thing and have fun with it. So I feel like that's still, you know, like for what it is, it's a fun time. And from a final general listener's perspective, I would rather listen to this than music which someone's had absolutely nothing to do with. You know, I've had people ask me my opinions on AI music recently, and I feel like it's just so sad to have people not want to make music. They just want something to synthesize it for them. I understand that it's difficult to learn how to do these things, but I feel like a lot of joy can come from trying to put stuff together and you know, making something, especially if it's a collaboration and you're working with other people. It's really no different than being in a traditional band, you know. So I'm grateful for that. I wish everyone involved all the best of luck with their future of the musical endeavors. Because thank you for watching my review of this track from IGOR titled Dih Lightning. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go check out the various social medias, including the YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. And please remember to support your local musicians and artists one in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going in the world. And I will catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.